Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and hello if you are new. I am GrandMcLegend, and today we are just going to be discussing what was the point. What was the point of the E75TS, the Tier 9 German heavy tank, and what was the point of it actually being moved from Tier 8 to Tier 9? Now today we are going to be discussing, well, the E75TS and its counterpart, the Kyler, and just why I don't think that this tank should have been moved to Tier 9. So, yeah, we're just going to quickly talk about the stats and, well, we will see how this tank plays out in a live game. So, yeah, I admit it has been a while, but whatever. I'm gonna try and come back with some tank reviews, news, all the stuff like that. But yeah, let's not dwell on the past. So first of all, we're going to have a look at the armor profile of this tank. And first of all, well, this tank should be played hull down. In my opinion anyway, this tank should be played hull down. Well, you could side scrape, but you have this weak point here, and you also have, well, if you use APCR, your turret is absolutely paper, and you do have a weak spot here. You can't pen this is just decoration, and you can, well, you can actually pen right in the tracks, which is a bit annoying. But if you do go hull down, well, your turret is still paper, and yeah, like, but if you just angle it just a bit, you can get it so, like, you can have about like a 50-50% chance of being able to pen the turret. But other than that, if you put on enhanced armor, yeah, you will get a few more bounces. So I definitely advise putting enhanced armor on this tank, because you are sitting at about 283 millimeters of armor on the lower plate, and then about 348 on your upper plate, and 277 on your turret. So, moving on to just the stats, we can see it has 2,664 DPM, 340 alpha, which is, well, the third to worst in Tier 9 heavies, which absolutely sucks. You have 240 pen on your AP, 303 on your APCR, and 65 on your HE. So, yeah, not the best HE pen, but you do have about, well, 465 average if you do pen it, which is really, really nice if you ask me. So, yeah, what else have we got? You have 317 dispersion without using refined gun, but you do have 0.269 when you are using refined gun. You have an aim time of 1.77. This is inaccurate. I don't know why Blitzstars shows it like this. Not Blitzstars, Blitzkit. So it's realistically about 2.5, 2.6, something like that, which isn't the best, but it is the 10th best in Tier 9 heavies. You have 38 kilometers an hour top speed, and you have 12 kilometers an hour reverse, and you also have 935 engine power, which is really nice, kind of. I can't find the power to weight. Here it is 12.1, so yeah, it's not the best. But in general, the tank, it's not the best, and it's pretty mid, in my opinion, I'll be honest. When I used to have this tank, it was in Tier 8. It wasn't the best tank in the world. I sold it. But I bought it back for purposes of it being moved to Tier 9, and here we are going to do a live game on this tank. So we're going to just set up with the standard loadout for a tank like this, and we're just going to quickly go and change all of these. So here we are on New Bay in the E75TS Eagle. So yeah, this is my first ever game in the Tier 9 version of this tank. So you'll be able to see my live reaction of this vehicle since it got changed. But honestly, I'm not expecting much. It's pretty much just a Tier 9 version of what it used to be. Like, sure, the armor was meant to be increased. I wanted this tank, if it ever got changed, I would have wanted it to stay in Tier 8, just have the turret armor improved and a bit better gun stats. But they did all that. Wargaming did all that. But they increased it to tier 9, which makes it so that tier 9s will be able to pen you just as easy as tier 8s would if it was in tier 8 still, which just doesn't make sense to me. But we'll get on to that point when we discuss the Kyler. So the tank, so far, it feels pretty mobile for what it is. Honestly, I never really had problems with the vehicle when it was in tier 8. It's just like an E75, just with less armour, if I'm perfectly honest. It has a humongous turret on the front, and it is just a bit slower. So, like, what can we do against this lot? So we've already lost our 2 mediums. Well, we've lost 2 mediums, and, well, we do have a Type 68 who's going to try and shoot me, who does miss the vehicle. So we're just going to load in, and we're just going to wait for this guy. It looks like he's not going to do anything at the minute, so I'm just going to back up, actually. We get a troll shot. Well, I miss my shot, and he does move forward, and he does get an easy pen into my turret. So we do try to get a pen on his turret, and it just bounces somehow, which was grey, and yeah, it just didn't work. So we're just going to load in again, and we do get 330 damage into his turret cheek. So we're just going to move up now. This guy is all by himself, and well, there's not really much he can do, kind of. So we're just going to try and get a shot onto his lower plate, but we do miss. So I'm just going to load in on this T55A, and we do miss the shell. So I'm going to get out the way of him, get his shot into the Type 68, which puts him to a 1-shot, and he will soon no longer be a danger to us. Clear descent 5-1, and we are being flanked, and it is a 2 versus 5. So this is not a good situation, and we do die, which sucks. So yeah, I don't like this tank, but the team was absolutely horrific. So far the tank just seems like how it was originally, and I don't really like that. Like, the main problem with this tank is that it was very similar to the Kyler, which basically was a weaker E7. The Kyler is a stronger E75 TS. It has a rounded turret, much more armour, and you have the ability to side scrape a lot more. Your hatch is weaker on this vehicle, but I just don't like how this tank plays. Like, yeah, you might think, oh, it's all unequipped and all that, but it's because I recently brought it back again for this video, and honestly, I still prefer the Kyler, but what I don't understand is that maybe if the thought process was to make it so that E75 TS was to be changed so it's different from the Kyler, why move it to tier 9? If you go and play Reforged, you'll see that the Kyler is also tier 9. So at some point, we know that the Kyler is going to be rebalanced into tier 9, which is basically exactly what happened with this vehicle, which doesn't make sense to me because this tank should stay in tier 8 just with the buffs it had to move it to tier 9, probably without the penetration values. But I just don't see the point. Like, the E75 TS, it was a forgotten tank. No one played it, and it was just a mid vehicle. Like, I don't understand why this tank was moved. It should have stayed in tier 8, and it should have been the Kyler that was moved up to tier 9. Let me know what you lot think of the E75 TS. I do apologise for the poor game. It's just teams weren't working out, but if I do two games, it'd make the video too long. But yeah, do let me know what you think of the E75 TS. Do you think the Kyler should have been moved, or do you think that it was the right choice for the E75 to be moved to tier 9? Thanks for watching the video. Hope you all enjoyed. I've been GrandMcLegend. Like and subscribe as it really helps me out. And I shall see you all in the next one. Bye bye.